Welcome to Try to Thrive, the podcast where passion meets endurance and every finish line is just the beginning. We're here to inspire, challenge, and share our journey through swim, bike, run, and beyond.
In this episode of Try to Thrive, I sit down with Dennis just a few days after one of the toughest moments in his triathlon journey, the Ironman Hamburg. We've trained together. We've recorded episodes full of excitement and motivation, and I've watched Dennis prepare relentlessly for this day. But sometimes, even with the best preparation, race day doesn't go as planned. Dennis had to stop during the run. And today, he shares exactly what happened. This is a raw and honest conversation about the emotional roller coaster of did not finishing. What went wrong, how it felt in the moment, and what he's taking away from it. I'm proud of Dennis for showing up and talking so openly about it. Let's dive in it. All right. Let's do some warm-up, All right.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Try to Thrive. Today is a very, very special episode because it is our first race review from Dennis because he attended the Ironman 2025 in Hamburg. And with that being said, welcome, Dennis.
Hello, Chris. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
After one day of not being in contact with you.
True. So today is Monday and the race was yesterday actually. So everything is still very, very fresh. And I'm still very excited because everyone knows sports and a lot of things in life. It is a journey. And I think you will take us today on your journey, how you went through the Ironman in Hamburg. And my first question to you, Dennis, how do you feel today?
Physically, I feel fine. I feel very well. I can assure everyone that I'm healthy, so that nothing was hurt in a way that would take some serious problems out of it. Mentally, of course, it was very hard to not finish. And yeah, I'm not the happiest person alive, I guess, but in general, I feel good. Life continues. So in general, yes, I feel good.
I still feel your positive vibes, Dennis, and that is what is very important. But did you do anything different from the time compared to the 70.3 in Venice?
If I did anything different?
Yeah, this time.
That's a good question. If I did anything different, for sure, I had a longer taper. So for Venice, I had 1 week, and now I had 2 weeks. But I don't think that it's anything about the training before. So that's the race results, which was no result. But yes, for sure, I made mistakes in my preparation. That I can say. To say it in just a few words, I screwed up. Ich habe vermasselt. Spieprzyłem.
And I have never been able to hear that from you, Dennis.
Now you know it in 3 languages.
The Polish I already forgot.
In English, German, and Polish.
Thank you. I think for sure we will come later during this episode. We will come to the bottom line of what. So, Dennis, take us back to the start to your Ironman journey.
So I had, after Venice Solo, which was 4 weeks before, I had like a couple of days, you can say like very little training. And then the Sunday after that, my last training block began. Okay. And that was like for around 10 days or something like that. And then basically my taper started. So I had 2 weeks before the Ironman, I had my last longer bike ride. with some high wattage intervals and then tapering for 2 weeks. And then my Ironman, but for sure I can already now say that one mistake I made in the beginning is that I planned a business trip just before the Ironman for 2 weeks, where I was traveling with my bike for 2 weeks. And that was not optimal with not optimal nutrition and sometimes every day in a different hotel. So that was for sure not optimal, but not the reason why I didn't finish, that I can say straight away. That was not the reason. So it's not me searching for some excuses. No, that was not the reason.
I can agree. I mean, if you have your training routine and you go for any kind of business trips, it looks like you have the same feeling. It is a disruption because you're out of your usual zone, you're out of your habits, you need to adjust, you need to find the right food, you need to find the right places to train. So from the preparation perspective, you said making business trips just before the race is not really helpful.
For sure not. I mean, I believe if normally I wouldn't plan it like that. Yet after Venice Solo, I had so many positive emotions because doing the 70.3 in Venice, where I didn't really have to push myself. I didn't feel that I was going even 100%, and thought like, okay, yeah, that was so good. And I think like deep inside me, I kind of like lost some humbleness, maybe even some respect towards the challenge, and thought, okay, yeah, I I will do it. And maybe I felt a little bit too short, and that was then the first one of the first bad decisions. Of course, as we said, that's not the reason why I didn't finish, but it's yeah, for sure I could improve that if I, after analyzing everything that happened before, I thought, okay, yeah, that for sure was a mistake because it kind of stressed me. The 2 weeks before stressed me, and I didn't have to do this business trip. I could have easily done it after the Ironman, but I thought, no, I'm going to do it before.
Okay, so that is lesson learned number one. But now, moving from the preparation phase to the race that took place yesterday. You know, everyone is struggling with swimming, and we already said that it's not so easy. Tell us, how was the swim? How have you worked on? I mean, you know, I know that you have worked a lot on swimming, and we did a lot of swimming together. Did it pay off?
I'm not very sure that my swim time was very good. Even for my standards, I wouldn't say it was very good. I know that a few times I lost a few meters by not swimming straight, and it was very cold. The water was very cold. It was unnormally cold water, even colder than our Zakshuvek when we went swimming a few weeks ago.
Wow.
At least that's how it felt to me. And yeah, I mean, I was only thinking about when is the swim ending, but no, the swim should have been also better. And yeah, I was struggling with the swim. Also in Venice, it was better. Okay, that's also half the distance, but yeah, no, I think that's no achievement I'm really proud of, to swim for 1 hour and 31 minutes, 3,900 meters. But yeah, nothing that really makes me angry, the swim time, because I'm not a swimmer, but yeah, nothing I'm hugely proud of. And yeah, here again in the pool, it's much easier to swim. I am even surprised that I was able to swim faster in Venice than in Hamburg, because the navigation is much easier. The sighting, it's much easier in Hamburg because most of the time you swim straight, then you have one or two buoys where you turn and then you swim straight again, then slightly turn left, straight again. But the water was very cold. It was very cold. Even I had some pain here for the whole time in my face. The face was the only thing that wasn't really safe before the cold. And yeah, I was also swimming a lot in breaststroke. So I think for sure 1,500 meters, 1,200 meters was breaststroke.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the weather really wasn't the best yesterday, so that luck was not on your side. But now, coming out of the water, going on the bike, I know that Hamburg is quite a fast and flat route. How did your leg go for you?
So when I got out of the water, I felt very good actually, like when it comes to my muscles. Because I was like for the last 2 weeks, I didn't do much intensive work. So my muscles felt completely fine. I felt completely just fit. The day before, I was also going on the bike with some intervals and I felt very strong. Just so short intervals to activate the muscles. And when I started on the bike, I felt very good. I was happy or finally on the bike. I did everything how I was planned with my coach, that I start slower. So I knew that in the beginning there are some hills, but they are very short. So I told myself, okay, especially in the hilly part in the beginning, you go slow. And then when you're kind of like a little bit out of the center, then you start getting faster. So I did exactly that, which in general paid off. I felt good, and then I started to get into my pace and into the heart rate I wanted to have during the entire bike leg. I think I was holding this heart rate around for the first 90 kilometers. And then slowly my heart rate went down all the time. At one moment, I realized that my heart rate gets down all the time. And I was like wondering what's going on. My legs feel really good, but my heart rate goes down and I'm not able to push that hard, but my legs, they don't even hurt.
Interesting.
So then I just realized that my breathing gets thinner and shorter, and that when I try to inhale very strong, it really hurts. So I tried to fight against it and breathe in more, but that didn't really make it better. So then I just went with it. At the end or at the last, I'm not sure. I didn't check the file on my Garmin watch, but I think like for the last 20 kilometers or even 30 kilometers, I was just rolling around with 29, 30 kilometers per hour, which is not very fast. Like it's like basically as if you cool down or if you warm up. It's like not it like I don't know how many watts, but that, I don't have this watt measurement thing on my bike, but yeah, how much could it be? Like 100 watt? So yeah, and that was my bike ride, which yeah, of course. Then when I got to the transition zone, I was already mad. My mother and my family, my girlfriend, they were also there, and I was like really really angry and mad. But I hope like okay, perhaps during the run it will be better. Maybe I can just run easily with like easy pace.
At the end of the bike, you already felt that there might be some problems coming up. So let's talk about the run. The point where,
I felt that something is not all right, but I didn't think during the bike leg that I will not finish.
okay.
But if I would have, I think if I would have thought more logically, if I can only go with 30 kilometers per hour, like which is 100 watts or something like that, no, that should be hard during the run as well.
So then when you started the run, which was the point where thing took a turn, what happened after the transition zone?
So I did the transition. I was mad. I came very angry into the transition. my girlfriend and my mom, they were cheering for me, and I was just basically ignoring them. Then I went for a quick toilet break for a few seconds, and then got my shit together, gave them thumbs up to give some positive energy back, and try to get some positivity also for myself on for the running. Then I started with like 5:30, 5:40 pace, which is for me a very easy pace. Felt also from the legs felt all right. I had my breathing, and I was all the time breathing like that. And then I did the first aid station, I think after around 3 kilometers. And then a few meters later, I think, I had my first walking break. Then I continued again running. Then it was not 5:40 pace, just slower. Then again walking, and then I knew, okay, it's something that I can't really get enough oxygen into my system, because my legs were completely fine. I Even today I almost feel nothing in my legs. And also then of course you feel your legs a little bit after biking. Even if you just go for 50 kilometers, you will feel your legs a little bit, but nothing nothing very serious. So I'm not going to run fast today. Then after I think 4 kilometers, I just tried to run, walk. The walking breaks got longer and longer. So then I had more like running breaks. It just got worse and worse. At some point, probably around like 5 kilometers, everything gets into your head. I just got so emotional because everything just got together that from around kilometer 5 on, I was crying all the time. I basically was running and crying. I stopped running and I still was crying. I couldn't even control it. And it was very hard. And that was how emotional I was during the running. Before I was angry when I was on the bike at the end, and then when I got into the running, it's the anger turned into something completely different. And yeah, that was tough. That was very tough, emotionally, very tough, and also afterwards.
So it was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yes, it was a roller coaster of emotions. I'm not very emotional usually. I'm the complete opposite. At least on the outside, I don't I don't cry. Like I never cry. You think about how much you invested and that you want to finish it, and that you just want to finish it, right?
Right.
And it gets worse and worse. At some point, I wasn't able to run because my breath would be just and then I just continued to walk. And I remember then, after like a very long period of walking, there was one man who saw that I'm walking, and he came and talked to me. Hey, Dennis, just do one step after another. You can do it. You can do it. And he was like walking next
Okay.
to me, and then I started running. And then he's like, yeah, Dennis, you do it. And then I started running for, let's say, like 100, 150 meters. But I was like so out of breath that I continued to walk. And then I was looking at my watch, and I saw like, okay, I still have to do like 29 kilometers, and I'm going like 10 minutes per kilometer. And I don't know if I'm able to do that to just walk for 29 kilometers if I can't even really breathe when I'm walking.
Yeah. So it was a decision
Yeah.
on your health condition that you took to get out of the race.
Yeah, I think so, yes. I think you can say it like that.
Yeah.
I believe still that if my head would be into it, and I would just finish it, just walking it. But then also it gets in your head when you have this condition that, yeah, do I want to do that? Do I know everything is all right, or can it be worse? Because I was fighting this condition, but yeah, then also like it wasn't meant to be. I think everything came together with probably it all began when you think about that the solo triathlon went so well and I was so hyped and so positive. Then a few bad decisions turn your momentum in a different direction. And then you just take a very bad decision just before the triathlon, when the triathlon actually started late because of thunder and lightning and massive rains in the morning. When we got out of our Airbnb, we had around like 20 degrees, like 18, 20 degrees. So it was very warm. Also in our Airbnb, it was super hot. And because I felt so warm, I just got out in my tri-suit. I didn't have any sweater above it, which was okay before the storm. But then when the storm started, when we were in the center where the start was, then it turned very cold. And we were in one of the train stations there, and it got super cold. I was standing there with only my tri-suit. And after like 1.5 hours, I feel like some cold. See, everyone is in their jackets and everything. And then I took out my clothes for after the triathlon to get a little bit warmer. So I think that that's the reason why perhaps I got a cold, and it made this condition with my breath that I wasn't able to inhale that much oxygen.
So I think that takes us and leads us to the second lesson learned. Whatever the weather is that you think it could be, weather can change, we know that. So especially when you go with your support to the race, you should put more clothes on, and then to the start, closer to the start of the race, you can then take all your warm clothes off and then be warmed up for the race itself.
Yeah, I agree. Yes, because we have a very good saying in German. It's like in German it goes like this: Es gibt kein schlechtes Wetter, nur schlechte Kleidung.
Yes.
There is no bad weather, only bad clothes.
Right.
Yes, I just did a very stupid mistake with this. And yeah, it was super cold. When I got into the water, I was shocked. I felt it from the beginning. I didn't know that the day will turn out like that. But yeah, you need to search for what can cause something. And when I have this condition, it doesn't work like that. That I say like, oh yeah, I was sick and I was just not lucky. No, like there is a reason why I am sick. And much likely it's because I made a mistake. So I just have to learn from it and do it better next time. So yeah, for sure, be more aware for weather changes, which actually even I knew it the day before that the storm will come. We knew it before. They already gave this information also on the Ironman page that much likely there will be a storm coming. So they will give information in the morning. It's still, I didn't think of it.
Okay. I mean, you will learn from that. But one day after the race, do you feel disappointed with yourself that you took the decision to quit the race?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Of course, you feel disappointed that you didn't do it, that you didn't finish. If you want to start something, then you want to finish it. I had completely different goals. My goal was to finish it in under 10 hours. And at the end, I didn't finish. And yes, it sounds for sure not cool, but I'm not the first person on earth that
No.
didn't finish an Ironman. And things happen, you make mistakes, and it's the first time I did it. I put in so much effort in the preparation, like so many hours of training, at least very few people I know. and I still didn't manage to finish. Yes, and it's okay. I'm good with it, and I just look at it that okay, what can I improve? What can I do better next time? Where have I made some mistakes? And that's also why I like to share these things because Chris and I we came up with the name Try to Thrive for a reason because we try to thrive. And yeah, trying to thrive also means that you can screw up sometimes, you make mistakes. Hey, live with it and just continue it. I learned so much, and not only from the sports perspective, also from the private perspective, because I didn't tell you that yet, Chris, when we talked before the podcast, but you have like, if something like that happens, you have so so many emotions during the Ironman, and when you don't finish, you are very, very emotional because you put in all the work and you didn't do it. And then also to deal with that and to get back to the normal life and also try to have that again like a nice evening with your family and have fun and everything. If I didn't have this situation today and I wouldn't be forced to deal with these emotions, which I never had in my life, emotions that strong. I I wouldn't I wouldn't have learned that just yesterday. So that's for me very valuable.
Yeah, and that perfectly leads to my next question, which I had on my list because I wanted to ask you, what has this taught you about yourself, not as a triathlete, but as a person? If you could sum it up in one sentence, what would that be?
What I learned as a person, not as a triathlete.
Yes.
Whew, I learned so many things, but if I would have to choose the thing that resonates the most, it's also something I in general I knew also before, but I think that just proves it even more. Yeah, that you should be humble in times of success because I was after having this very very good 70.3 triathlon and all my trainings went relatively well. I think I lost the contact to the ground, I think a little bit, and that's when a sequence of bad decisions turned out. Not everything was completely like that, but yeah, it's more than one sentence. But
Okay, that is very honest feedback to yourself. And hopefully everyone else who's listening to this podcast can learn something out of it. And now let's move a little bit to the future because, what happened yesterday. And I think you still need some time to process this. But have you already started thinking what's next on your agenda? So what's coming up, Dennis?
for sure, now I'm gonna try to rest a little bit so that I will be able to breathe normally. I can still feel that I'm not really able to get like much oxygen in. It doesn't hurt, but it's like it feels very uncomfortable. So as soon as I get back to Krakow, I will for sure see a doctor just to check it. But I don't think it's anything serious. So I think that's probably just a cold and did like some excessive sports, which turned out having this reaction of the body. So that's the first thing. Checking my health, which I think is the best thing someone can do if you have a problem. And before I would get my confirmation, what I think is true, but perhaps something else turns out, which I don't believe. So,
I keep
but
my fingers
someone
crossed.
should do it. I believe so. That's the first thing, and of course, I'm already thinking when to achieve what I plan to achieve. and I will just check some race calendars and try to talk with my family and my closest friends where I will do it. And of course, my coach, I will also talk with my coach, and then I will do it again because I think that's the most important thing. Something can turn out bad, but you can still continue to do what you want and to achieve your goals. Sometimes you just have to lose to win.
Exactly. And this is a really good advice, and I 100% agree with what you're saying. So now, if we look forward, the Dennis next time at an Ironman, and if you could give yourself a message 10 minutes before the race would start, what would that be?
Mhm. You
Exactly. Anything else that you would like to share with us from the race experience that you had? I think one thing that we haven't even talked about was, how was the entire race? There was still a bad weather, but was there a lot of crowd, a lot of people cheering next to the race?
Oh yeah. So we didn't talk about that. We talked only about negative things from my side. But yeah, it was the crowd there, especially during the run. It was packed. Like there were so many people, and everyone was cheering, especially for the people walking. They were always saying, like, Dennis, you can do it. And yeah, that for sure pushed me a little bit more into running all the time. But I couldn't run at some point anymore. So I didn't really enjoy that much when someone was cheering me on. At some point, it got like very, yeah, destructive even more. But yeah, I think the organization was very good. The course is also very nice. I like the swim course. It's easy to swim. It's easier to swim than in your solo, at least I had the feeling. But the water is very cold because you are not in Italy. And the bike course is also awesome. Very flat, very long straights. And you can just go very fast if you don't have wind from the front, which sometimes you had, but then you go almost the same way back. So then you have again a wind from the back. And it's also, yeah, there's a lot of space, so you can overtake easily. What I also liked is that they have race officials, like a lot of race officials. So they were actually really watching you if you are drafting, which they didn't do really in your solo. So that was cool. And every time when a motorbike came, you could see also in front already that people that were hearing that were like braking to not be too close to someone else. And it was like at least every 5 minutes or 10 minutes I saw like a motorbike. So like he was even surprised. And it's a really good triathlon, I think, for first timers. Just Hamburg is very crowdy. So everything is from like the Ironman tents, they're very far away from each other. And there are so many tourists in general. So it's perhaps for like an experience if you want to go there with a group of people. I think it's easier to go to a different place where, yeah, like in your solo, it's not during the tourist season, and you're basically only there with people that do a triathlon, which was very cool too.
All right. So thank you, Dennis, for giving us a run through the entire event, the lessons learned, and sharing a little bit of your emotions. Again, I think you said something very, very wise, which is failure sometimes is the key to success. And I'm very, very sure that next time you will rock it. You will be an Ironman. And I think we are ready to wrap up the episode for today. Any final comments from your side?
Yeah, be proud of your mistakes and continue. And that's just it. I always say mistakes are good because, as you said, like when you have failures, then you can grow. And I would say always when you fail, you have the opportunity to grow and to make it better next time. So just be proud of it that you do something. And I'm proud of it that I tried, and I'm gonna continue to try to thrive.
You said it perfectly, and I am proud of yourself as well. So with that being said, that was a wonderful wrap up of the episode for today. Thank you for tuning in and looking forward to the next episode. Bye bye.